नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रों, as we learn about structure of root and major types of root, you did understand what is true and false root. True root, that is which develop from radical, and false root, also known as adventitious root, also known as fibrous root, that develop from other than radical. In dicot, taproot is a true root which is made up of primary root, secondary root and tertiary root. That is, primary root arises from radical, secondary and tertiary roots arises from primary root. In monocot, that root which develop from radical, it is short-lived. Later it get degenerated. That's what we learned that day. So, in monocot, plants like jawar, bajra, wheat, bamboo and all other grasses, sugarcane, fibrous root which develop from lower part of the stem are false root. So fibrous roots are false. To make it clear, students, otherwise we always learn up to 10th class. There are two major types of root, taproot and fibrous root. Taproot found in dicot, fibrous root found in monocot. But there is not much clarification about this fibrous root, whether it is true or false. But today it is very clear that primary root which develop from radical in monocot get degenerated in the early stage itself, and later that roots which arises from lower part of the stem are called fibrous root, false root, adventitious roots. Now, today here we are supposed to learn about modifications of root. There in your book, they have mentioned 3 modifications for. So first of all, we shall understand that 3 major modifications given in book, and then there are many modifications which are supposed to be asked in NEET examinations. So we should aware about that one also. It is not so that what mentioned in book that we learn so that we prepare for NEET. It is not. So we have to learn in addition to these 3 types of modification to many modifications. So what are the 3 major types which mentioned in your book? They have mentioned one modification, that prop root, another modification, stilt root, and third modification is nematophores, respiratory roots, respiratory root, also known as nematophores. Now, what are these? These 2 types are modified for the support, and this third one is modified for respiration. So, this prop root found in banyan tree that develop from nodes of the branches, as you have seen. Suppose this is the banyan tree, and these are the branches of the banyan tree, and this is the trunk. Here, that roots which hang down grow geotropically, that are from the nodes of the stem, and that grow geotropically. Later, in the late age, they get stumped inside the soil, so that they also feel like a main trunk. They arise from nodes of the branches. To have the extra support of the banyan tree, since its growth, its canopy is very widespread. You would have seen in Calcutta Botanical Garden, there is a large banyan tree that's spread in 1 kilometer or 1.5 kilometer square kilometer area. So you can observe there are many stumps arises, or that prop roots are arises, and they grow in such a way that they look like a trunk. So that is what to support. Therefore, that tree can grow and cover 1.5 square kilometer area as a canopy. So prop roots are the additional root. They are the modification of root. They are arises from the nodes, and therefore they are false. Example: banyan tree. Banyan tree. I hope you did understand that how this prop root arises as a support. What are stilt root? Stilt roots are the root which arises from lower nodes of the stem. In monocot, stem has prominent node and internodes, and these roots arises from the lower nodes to have the extra support. Why? Because this fibrous root which arises from lower part of the stem are not sufficient enough to have the support to that growing monocot plant. Therefore, these roots, in addition to this fibrous root, arises from lower nodes of the stem to have the extra support Where they found? They found in jawar, bajra, rice, wheat, sugarcane, bamboo, and all other grasses, and all grasses. It is a characteristic feature of poaceae, characteristic feature of gramineae, characteristic feature of grass family. So question can be asked, what are steel root? Those which arises from lower nodes of the stem and give extra support, additional support to the monopod stem in plants such as so and so. These are the examples. And question can be asked in NEET by having knowledge of this example. Respiratory root are the modification of root to breathe. In which plant this is need to breathe? Those plants which grow in marshy area. That is what called mangrove vegetation. You would have heard the word mangrove, Daldal wala area, Sundarban area, delta area in nearby Calcutta, or Gangetic plains which end into the open into the ocean. Though always there is a marshy land, कीचड़ भरा हुआ रहता है. So root when grow under the ground and when there is a mud, so they do not get oxygen. So that root grow negatively geotrophic. Suppose this is a plant and this is what root which grow inside that show negatively geotrophic growth, and that branch come out like this. That branch come out like this. See, here this stem grow negatively geotrophic and grow above the ground bearing lenticels over it. What are lenticels? Like living tissue exposed outside. Living tissue exposed outside. As you would have learned, there is three types of transpiration: stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration, and lenticular transpiration. So as this is a lenticular exchange of gases. The stomata not only used for the loss of water and transpiration but also for exchange of gases. The same way, lenticels are also used for exchange of gases, where oxygen is inhaled and carbon dioxide can be released off. So this living tissue which exposed in this respiratory root help to have the oxygen supply to the root. So in marshy area, this is what all around is a marsh, is a swampy area where there is no chance to get oxygen from this water and that mud. Therefore, this root has to grow negatively geotrophic and positively phototropic, bearing lenticel for exchange of gases. These roots are also known as nematophores. Example, rhizophora. Example, rhizophora. So it is very clear to you now that there are these three modifications mentioned in textbook: prop root, stilt root, and respiratory root. Prop root and stilt root are modified for support, and respiratory root is modified for breathing. They are also known as nematophores. Example, rhizophora. I hope this short video giving you clear and complete information about modifications of root mentioned in textbook, and you understand. So I am happy to produce this third video of this chapter. Now fourth video will be concerned about modification of root in addition to these three, which are always asked in NEET examination. There are about 9 to 11 modifications which are supposed to be discussed with you. For example, hanging root, epiphytic root, assimilatory root, climbing root, root for storage of food, storage root, root for propagation, micropropagation, and so on. Sure, I will discuss in next video. Don't miss to see that next video, because we are not only to get qualifying board examination, but also we are to qualify NEET examination. And I guarantee you, if you attend my each lecture, you will never get less than 300 mark out of 360 in NEET examination. And I hope you too will be keep on subscribing to get every and each video to have the link of this knowledge to get NEET qualified. If you have any doubt, you comment it out in our comment box, so as to I am always ready to answer your question. Thank you. Namaskar.